What was the duty of Banu Adi? Now think about it. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala is known for what? For justice. Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha used to say that adorn your gatherings with the dhikr, with the mention of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. So in the time of the Nabi of Allah, there was a delegation of 80 people that came from Hanifa, Banu Hanifa, 80 people. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ hosted them, provided lodging for them, provided food for them. Of course, this delegation accepted Islam, left. So this is the family tree. Furthermore, we spoke about the Mudir and the Rabi'a. Mudir and Rabi'a, they are the sons of Nizar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. قال الله تعالى في الفرقان الحميد لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah, last week we discussed a branch of the Quraysh. To the best of my memory, we spoke about Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq and Talha radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, and both of them were from the Taym tribe. So inshallah, today we will study another branch. We're going to study the Adi tribe. The Adi tribe. Now, Ka'ab, who is one of the fathers of Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had 3 sons, and one of them is Adi. And Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an's tribe is known as Banu Adi. So Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an's tribe is known as Banu Adi. So if we go downwards, we will find that Adi's son is Raza, and then after Raza it comes as Qart, and then Abdullah, then Rayya, then Abdul Uzza, and then Nufail. And then there's a split from Nufail, as you can see. On one side is Khattab, and then comes from Khattab Umar, the great Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Umar bin Khattab. And if you go to the other side, Nufail, and you will find Amr, and Amr's father is Zayd, and Zayd's father is Sa'id. Now, one of the distinctions of this family tree, Zayd, and then Sayyid comes, Sa'id bin Zayd. Zayd is the father, and then Sa'id is the son, Sa'id bin Zayd. Now, the distinction of this family is it has 2 Ashara Mubasharas. One is Umar bin Khattab. He's the second Khalif of Islam. And then it is Sa'id bin Zayd. These 2 are Ashara Mubashara. Now, when you study the story of Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an, you will come to know that he was on his way to murder Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the people of Makkah decided that if anyone can murder Nabi Kareem Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is Umar. As we know that en route to taking care of the Nabi of Allah, a person directed him to his family, meaning to his sister's house, whose name is Fatima. So Fatima binte Khattab. So Fatima, Umar, both brothers and sisters, brother and sister. So Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, when he goes, as we know, the story continues that he slaps his brother-in-law. That brother-in-law is Sa'id bin Zayd. Ashara Mubashara. So Sa'id bin Zayd was married to Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala an's sister. Urdu mein kehte behnoi, brother-in-law. And Sa'id bin Zayd, he took the brunt of it, and then Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala struck his sister, and as we know that at the end it resulted in him accepting Islam after listening to the opening verses of Surah number 20, Surah Taha. Innani anallahu la ilaha illa ana fa'budni wa aqimis salata li dhikri. On this point, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala an accepted Islam. So this is a very important family tree from the Quraysh. What was the duty of Banu Adi? Now think about it. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala is known for what? For justice. Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha used to say that adorn your gatherings with the dhikr, with the mention of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. Because when you speak about Umar, you speak about adl. And adl is translated as justice. And when you speak about adl, you speak about the adil, one of the attributive names of Allah, adil. So your gatherings will be adorned by the dhikr, the remembrance of adl, justice. That is one of the objectives of our beautiful religion. And as we all know that Hazrat Hassan Basri, rahimahullah, one of the great tabi'eens, he used to say that always mention Umar in your gatherings. It will allow you to choose between right and wrong. And it will give you the ability to choose right over wrong. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala an, one is a muhaddith. Muhaddith. With a kasra under the dal. Muhaddith. Muhaddith means a scholar of hadith. And one is a muhaddath. Muhaddath. Prophet Muhammad said, Umar is the muhaddath of this ummah. Now who is a muhaddath? A muhaddath is that person that does not receive revelation, but Allah Almighty inspires him with messages that are authentic. And a muhaddath will always choose that which is right and which is in line with what Allah wants. That's why Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, before revelation used to descend, his personal inclination towards certain things used to be in line with divine constitution. The reason behind it is he was muhaddath. He was muhaddath. May it be the hijab, may it be maqam Ibrahim praying behind it, may it be even the alcohol, all these different ahkamat that came, that brought a change in the structure of our beautiful religion. Hazrat Umar had a feeling that this is what's going to happen. So this is known as a muhaddath. Now, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, as we know that we are in the month of Dhul Hijjah, and on the 27th of Dhul Hijjah, according to many scholars, inshallah we'll speak about this in detail when we arrive there, he was stabbed. On the 27th of Dhul Hijjah, he was stabbed, according to most scholars. And then he lived for a few more days, and then he passed away on the 1st of Muharram. So on the first day of the new Islamic calendar, he departed from this world. And the very famous statement of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, one of the great scholars, who was deputed by Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala an to be the master teacher in Kufa, the city that was established by Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala an in Iraq. He used to say that when Umar left this world, the fort of Islam collapsed. Umar was there, we felt very, very secure. The fitan, the people that caused trouble, they were all suppressed. because of the awe and the reverence of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. But once Umar radiallahu ta'ala left, things started to change. That fort collapsed. And why wouldn't the fort collapse when the Prophet of Allah asked for Umar to become a Muslim? He asked that, Ya Allah, make Umar a Muslim. It's a lot of people may not know, and we'll speak about this in detail when the time comes. Why did the Prophet of Allah make dua for Abu Jahl or Umar to accept Islam? Do you know when it was? Have you ever studied when this took place? It took place when Abu Bakr Siddiq was assaulted and he was beaten. And he was dragged into the court of the Nabi of Allah because he could not stand on his feet. And when he made it into the court of the Nabi of Allah, he cried. Abu Bakr Siddiq cried. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ could see that how weak the Muslims are. That we can't even get one word of truth into the community. When we speak the truth, we are beaten. At that time, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq took advantage and he said that, please make dua for my mother. And the Prophet of Allah cried a lot for Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr cried when he hugged the Prophet of Allah. And the Prophet of Allah made dua for the mother of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq. And she accepted Islam right there and then. At that time, in the time of absolute need, when we are being hammered, kicked from pillar to post, that's the time the Prophet of Allah looked up and he made dua. And he said, out of these two people, give me one. Give me Abu Jahl or give me Umar bin Khattab. And as we know that Umar bin Khattab accepted Islam, of course. Then Sa'id bin Zayd is the brother-in-law. This is known as Banu Adi. All right. We're going to go right now. What was the work of this family, Banu Adi? So Hazrat Umar is known for justice. He was appointed, or this family was appointed by Qusay. Remember Qusay? The one that took over leadership from Banu Khuza'ah after how many years? 290 years. Banu Khuza'ah was kicked out. Qusay took over. Then he distributed ministries. Foreign ministry was given to Banu Adi. Foreign ministry was given to Banu Adi. That's why there was only a few people in Mecca that could read and write. One of them was Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala. He could read and he could write. He could speak, he could converse with delegations that used to come prior to Islam and in Islam as well. That's why he was a master politician. Because he knew how to speak to people. He knew what people were saying, what was the motive behind it. And he was very, very switched on. A wrestler by nature that we'll speak about later on. Banu Adi. All right. Ka'b has 3 children, Murrah, Adi. We've spoken about Banu Adi. Now we're going to go to Hushaysh. Hushaysh. This is the 3rd son of Ka'b. 3rd son of Ka'b. His name is Hushaysh. All right. He has 2 sons. First son is Shaham, then Ma'bad, then Hashim, then Wail, then As, then Amr. Amr ibn As. He's not Ashara Mubashara, but who is Amr ibn As? The conqueror of Egypt. So he's the conqueror of Egypt. Fatih Misr. So he conquered Egypt. He's Amr ibn As. So this is a very important family as well. Their duty was to take care of the treasury. Maliyat. So they were in control of the treasury. As we know that Makkatul Mukarramah was a hub of business. We will speak about the different religions in Makkah later on. So a lot of people used to give donations. A lot of donations. That's why the people of Makkah were very, very prosperous. Especially those that were in control. So the ministry that was given to Hushaysh, and especially to the family of Amr ibn As, radiallahu ta'ala an, it was the finance. So they used to take care of the finance of Makkatul Mukarramah. If we go to the right side, Hushaysh has another son, and he's of course, Jamma is the brother of Shaham. You go down, Wahab, Khalf, Umayyah, and we'll stop at Umayyah. Who's Umayyah? Umayyah bin Khalf, the master, the wretched master of Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala. Umayyah bin Khalf. So when you study the enemies of Islam, the very active enemies of Islam, you can't pass by Umayyah. So Umayyah was a very, I could say he's a wretched person, very cruel person, and he did a lot of zulm upon Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala. But look at the qudrat of Allah Almighty. Umayyah, who died in the battle of Badr as a non-believer, his son is Safwan. And Safwan was a Sahabi, Safwan bin Umayyah. So many a times when you read stories about Sahaba, this name will pop up. Safwan bin Umayyah. And it's Safwan bin Umayyah bin Khalf. So son, mashallah, a Sahabi, Abu Bakr, Hazrat Ibrahim, son is a prophet, and the father Azar is a non-believer. Safwan is a believer, his father Umayyah is a non-believer. This is the qudrat of Allah Almighty, Safwan bin Umayyah. Now, what was the duty of this family? The duty of this family was very ajib. Not very ajib for the people from the subcontinent to understand. They were known for istikhara. Istikhara. What does that mean? Before anything big, so anything that they needed to do, the people of Makkah, we're going out, we're going to do business, we're going to send a trade caravan to Sham, so on and so forth. Anything momentous, they used to consult with this family. This, I call it the istikhara family. It used to be known as the istikhara family. And their istikharas were very, very ajib, very unique istikharas. Not the istikhara that we have nowadays. Their istikhara was that there's a tree in front of you, and that tree has many, many birds. So they throw a stone towards the tree. The istikhara is that if the birds fly to the right, it means yes. And if the birds fly to the left, it means no. So who throws the stone? This family, the family of Jamma. They throw the stone, birds go to the right, they say that means yes, we're going for a journey. If the birds fly to the left, we're not going to take this journey on. When Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came with this beautiful, final, complete, comprehensive religion, he said, why do you allow the makhluk to decide your affairs? You're allowing the birds to decide your affairs or any other creation. Why don't you put your affairs in the hands of Allah Almighty? Yudabbirul Amr, the regulator of affairs. Allah is Yudabbirul Amr. He regulates the affairs. Put your affairs in His hand. Let Him decide. And this is where the istikhara comes from. This is where the istikhara comes from. Now, I receive multiple calls. If I would say I receive 7, 8 calls every day about marital problems, I can say in the masjid I will receive 7, 8 calls regarding dreams. And people will say, I'm making istikhara and I've seen a dream. Tell me what is the meaning of this dream. Now let me make it very, very clear here. As a side note, dreams have nothing to do with istikhara. Dreams have nothing to do with istikhara. We'll speak about this in detail one day, but it does not have anything to do with istikhara. You know what istikhara is? To make you understand, to make it very, very easy. Before you eat food, what do you say? Bismillahi Rahmanir Rahim, ya Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. If you don't say Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah, can you eat the food? Or what happens? If you don't say Bismillah and you eat the food, it is deprived of blessing. If you say Bismillah and you eat the food, it is blessed. Likewise, following the the procedure of istikhara, reading the dua, praying the 2 units, you have included Allah in the matter. Dream has nothing to do with this. So let's say I want to travel to Sydney tomorrow and I make istikhara. Now, according to the best of my knowledge, I should go ahead and do what I think is right. If it is meant to be, Allah will remove the obstacles. And if it is not meant to be, Allah Almighty will place obstacles. This is istikhara. Now you're going to say, where do the dreams come from? That's another topic. We'll maybe speak about it another time. I want to finish this tree. So keep in mind, dreams really don't have a connection with istikhara. Istikhara is you have involved Allah in the affair. Do what you think is right. If it is meant to be, it will happen. If it is not meant to be, as you have included Allah in the matter, Allah Almighty will not allow it to be. This is what istikhara is. So Hushaish's family, all right, from Jamma, is known as the istikhara family. Is known as the istikhara family. All right. We have spoken about, I'm going to speak about how many Ashara Mubasharas have we covered? We have covered Sa'id bin Zayd. We have covered Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala, that's 2. We have covered Hazrat Talha. We have covered Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq. They both come from the Taym family. We're going to have a recap later on. Then we have covered Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, that's number 5. Then we have covered Talha bin Usman, number 6. Zubayr bin Awam, number 7. And then we have had Hazrat Usman, number 8. And then we have had Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala, number 9. So which Ashara Mubashara is missing? Because that's 9. Who's the 10th? Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. All right. Now, Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah, where does he come from? So what we're going to do is, so when you go to Fihr, this is it, Fihr. Fihr is the grandfather of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and his name is Quraysh, and under him comes all Quraysh. All right, all Quraysh. So right at the top, so Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah is the furthest away from the Prophet of Allah in terms of being a Qurayshi. Keep that in mind. Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah is the furthest. Because if you look at this family tree, you will find that Fihr has Ghalib, and then it has Luway, and then it has Ka'ab. You're going on that side, on this side, coming down, and then you find different Sahaba coming. But right at the start, Fihr has 3 sons. Fihr has 3 sons. 1, 2, 3. I would like to focus upon the second one, whose name is Haris. Now, Haris has a son whose name is Zabba. Zabba's son is Uhayb. Uhayb's son is Hilal. And Hilal's son is Jarrah. And Jarrah's son is Abdullah. And Abdullah's son is Abu Ubaidah. So he comes right in the start of this Quraysh tree. And Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah is of the same caliber of Abu Bakr and Umar. Keep that in mind. Inshallah, when we study Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah in the seerah, he's of the same caliber. So much so that when Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an was passing away, so on the 27th he was stabbed, and now the discussion arose that what should we do, who are we going to appoint? And Hazrat Umar expressed, he said that if Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah was alive, I would appoint him just like Abu Bakr appointed me. There'll be no council. I'll just appoint him. And the reason why I would appoint him, because the Prophet of Allah said, for every nation there is a ameen, a trustworthy person. And the trustworthy person of this nation is Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. But Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah died in the plague in 18 Hijri. And because Khulafai Rashidun maybe after 4 or 5 years. If that plague did not take place, that took the cream of the Sahaba would have entered Europe. Remember that. It was the plan of Allah Almighty, the master plan, because there has to be haqq and batil. There's going to be a challenge always. The cream died in Ghamwas, in the plague. If that plague did not take place, many great Sahaba, one Sahabi that is equivalent to 1,000 people died in that plague. Muslims would have entered into Europe and the whole world would have become Muslim. But this was the master plan of Allah Almighty, only Allah knows. So Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah passed away in that plague. All right. So that's the family tree Quraysh. Now, I would like to make mention, if you can, Brother Imran, once again, if you can go right to the top, Adnan, 21st. When we do the recap in a few moments, we're going to speak about the Adnani and the Qahtani. But I would like you to look from the top. This is something new. Adnan's son is Ma'ad. Ma'ad's son is Nidar. And then Nidar's son is Mudar. I would like you to stop there. Mudar is number 18. Now, number 11, so this is number 18. Mudar is number 18. Adnani, Qahtani. You remember that? Adnani, Qahtani. Pure Arabs, not pure Arabs. So Adnani, the family of Ismail, are not pure Arabs. They married into pure Arabs, known as the Qahtani. So now the Adnani comes down. Adnan is number 21. Mudar is number 18. These are not Quraysh. They are not Quraysh because Quraysh starts from number 11. Coming down, Fihr. Coming down, Fihr. That is where Quraysh starts. So before this, it's not Quraysh. It is Adnani and Qahtani. Now let's go to number 18, Mudar. There's a split from here in the Arab society. And it's a very beautiful story to understand the mindset of the people of Arabia. There are two types of Arabs, Mudar and Rabi'a. So Mudar has a brother whose name is Rabi'a. Mudar, it's not on the map. Mudar has a brother whose name is Rabi'a. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and those tribes that were close to the cities, Mecca, Medina, towards the cities, they are known as the Mudar Arabs. Mudar Arabs. And those that used to live inside the Arab Peninsula, in the barren areas, like Yamama, Musaylima Kadhab, they are known as the Rabi'as. They are known as the Rabi'as. So, Medina, Mecca, these are the Mudar, the 18th father of Nabi Kareem Muhammad going upwards. The tribes that were inside, because on this side is Kuwait, Bahrain, all these areas. In this area that used to be empty, used to be the Rabi'a tribes. And one of the famous Rabi'a tribes that gave a lot of trouble to the Muslims after the demise of the Nabi of Allah was Yamama, Musaylima Kadhab's tribe. That was not a Mudar tribe, it was a Rabi'a tribe. Now let me share the story, why I made mention of this, because you need to know the split. Tribalism was rife in Arabia. They used to give their life for their tribe. It didn't matter if it was right or wrong, they used to just stand by their tribe. So in the time of the Nabi of Allah, there was a delegation of 80 people that came from Hanifa, Banu Hanifa, 80 people. Prophet Muhammad hosted them, provided lodging for them, provided food for them. Of course, this delegation accepted Islam, left. Now, Prophet Muhammad has left this world, and one of the first battles that takes place in the time of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq is against the impostor Musaylima Kadhab. So the battle went on for a few weeks, according to historians. Many Sahaba died in it. It would have been the first time Khalid bin Walid lost. But he didn't, because he's Saifullah. But he could have lost the battle of Yamama. They were very strong. So what used to happen is they used to fight all day. The Muslims, They used to fight all day against Musaylima Kazzab's army. They're fighting. Now, the Muslims are, or most of the Muslims are from the Mudir, from Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's family, the Quraysh. Mudir, coming down. Mudir. Musaylima Kazzab was the Rabi'ah. Their people were Rabi'ah. Now, there was a understanding between both armies that at Maghrib time, we will not fight. We will stop the fight. So your camps are close to nursery, Logan Road. Muslims have their camps on Logan Road. And Musaylima Kadhab's camps are here at Holland Park. Right? So there's not much of a distance. But there's no fighting now. So we're going to rest. But after having a meal, they used to go for a walk. They go for a walk. So Sahaba are walking. And Musaylima Kazzab's army are walking as well to digest the food. So they're not fighting now. So one Sahabi, he looks at a group of people that are leaving the camps of Musaylima Kazzab, and he recognizes one person. Now they're not fighting now. And he says to him, whoa, are you Mr., for example, is your name Umar? For example. He says, yes, I'm Umar. No. He said, didn't you come with those 80 people and the Prophet of Allah hosted you and took care of you? He says, yes, I'm one of those people. So he goes, whoa, acha. Then the Sahabi says to him that, didn't you accept Islam? He said, yes, I accepted Islam. Meaning I'm a Sahabi. I accepted Islam in front of the Prophet of Allah, so I'm a Sahabi. So then the Sahabi says to this person, he says that, do you have any doubt about the decision that you made at that time? He said, no, I have no doubt. So this is more confusing now. So then the Sahabi says that, do you believe that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the Prophet? He says, yes. He said, I believe that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the Prophet. He said, what do you say about Musaylima Kadhab? He said, he's a liar. He's an imposter. Jhoot hai. He says, you say he's a liar, he's an imposter. All right, and you say Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the true prophet. Yet you fight with the armies of Musaylima Kadhab against us. Now the statement that he makes, the response that he gives will give you an understanding the challenge that Nabi Akram Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had. The challenge that he had. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is from where? Mudir. Mudir's brother's name is Rabi'ah. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is from this line. Mudir. Musaylima Kadhab is from Rabi'ah. This person says to the Sahabi, he knows that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the final prophet. He knows Musaylima Kadhab is Kadhab. Musaylima Kadhab is Kadhab. And he knows that fighting with this army is wrong, against the Muslims. But he says that, look, the liar of Rabi'ah, I prefer the liar of Rabi'ah over the most truthful of the Mudir. You get it? I prefer the liar of Rabi'ah, meaning Musaylima Kadhab, over the most truthful of Mudir, yani Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's tribalism. That is asabiyya. That is prejudice. This is what Nabi Akram Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had to go against. And, even Sahaba afterwards, late comers into Islam, they could not tolerate that Bilal, Salman Farsi, these poor Sahaba in front of them. They could not tolerate it. This was something very, very hard for them to endure. Now, all right, we're going to go through the family tree and finish this off for today. All right, so this is going to be a recap now. Inshallah, we'll try to do the recap in 6-7 minutes. All right, 6-7 minutes. So be ready. All right. We made mention that there are two types of Arabs in the Arab Peninsula. First grade Arabs, my words. Second grade Arabs. Those that are proper Arabs and those that took PR, permanent residency. So we understand that. Right? So we came from other places. So the people that were true Arabs, they were mostly from Yemen, from this area, Yemen, right, and Bahrain, around this, in that island on this side. So these were the true Arabs. Those are known as the Qahtani. Qahtani. They're the true Arabs. All right. Those that came and made the Arab Peninsula their home, but they came from other places, are known as Adnani. Hazrat Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam is of course, he came from Iraq. His father came from Iraq, from Babylon. So they left, or he left his wife and Hazrat Ismail in the Arab Peninsula. And then they became citizens. They got the passport of Makkah. All right. They became citizens of Makkatul Mukarramah. They're known as the Adnani. All right. Hazrat Ismail then married a Qahtani tribe known as the Jurham tribe. That was a Qahtani tribe, a pure Arab tribe. So he married, and that's where he learned Arabic from. So Hazrat Ismail learned Arabic when he married into the Jurham tribe. So now the arrangement between them was that what we will do is we will take care of the spiritual side when we are running the affairs, and Jurham will take care of all the other affairs. So this was the arrangement between these families. So they're taking over the, all right. At some time, there was a Qahtani tribe known as Khuza'a, Banu Khuza'a. It came from Yemen, and it had power to throw or kick out Banu Ismail, the family of Ismail. Ismail has passed away, and the family of Jurham out of leadership. And they took leadership. And they remained in leadership for how many years? 290 years. In these 290 years, idolatry was introduced in the Arab Peninsula. So, idolatry was not introduced by the family of Ismail. This was introduced by Banu Khuza'a. There was a person by the name of Amr bin Luhay. He introduced idolatry. All right, so this is about 290 years. 140 to 150 years before Nabi Kareem Muhammad arrives, Qusay, fifth father of Nabi Kareem Muhammad, he takes over. He's very, very powerful. He kicks out Banu Khuza'a that took control from Banu Ismail and Banu Jurham. And then he makes all these ministries. All right, you got it? And then we spoke about Fihr was number 11. This is where the Quraysh starts from. But the powerful person was, you can say, Qusay. He was very, very powerful. Then we spoke about the family trees, and I said that if we can go to the Qusay family, mashallah, right to the bottom, that's the one. And I said this is one family you need to, if you can't remember all the other families, just remember this branch, and inshallah you will not go wrong. Most of the stories are connected to this branch. History after Prophet Muhammad passes away for the next 600 to 700 years is connected to this branch. 600-700 years. May it be Banu Abbas, the Abbasiyat dynasty, or may it be the Umayyad dynasty. It is all connected to Qusay's child, and that is Abd Manaf. Abd Manaf. And then you can go down to the far side, Hashim. Hashim is the family of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we'll speak about inshallah in the next lesson. Who is Hashim? And then if you go back to this one, and I would like you to remember this name, yes, and that is Abd Shams. Abd Manaf's son Abd Shams. And when you go down, Umayyah, and then Umayyah has two sons, very, very important. One is Harab, and then from Harab comes Abu Sufyan, and he was in the front against the Nabi of Allah for many, many years. Abu Sufyan, and he is the father of Muawiyah, and Muawiyah is the father of Yazid, and Yazid is the one that is responsible for the martyrdom of the grandchild of Nabi Kareem Muhammad in Karbala in 60 Hijri. So this is the family, all right? And we made mention that Sufyan has a sister whose name is Ramla bint Abi Sufyan. She had a baby girl whose name was Habiba. That's why she's known as Habiba. Habiba means the mother of Habiba. She had a baby girl. Her husband left Islam, so she's one of the early comers into Islam. She's the wife of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Habiba, the sister of Abu Sufyan. And Abu Sufyan's true name is Sakhr. Sakhr. She was one of the first to migrate to Abyssinia. She makes it to Abyssinia. At that time, alcohol was not forbidden. Husband was a drinker. Muslim, Sahabi, he was still drinking. And the missionaries came, polluted the mind. He gave up the religion. He became a murtad. He left Islam. So she's left alone there. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam proposes. And then she becomes the wife of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is Habiba. Her name is Ramla bint Abi Sufyan. But if you go to the other side, it's the interesting side. The other side is the very interesting side. And you have to understand that this family was always, in the early days, they were enemies to Islam. All right, this family of, you could say, Abd Manaf, Abd Shams is very, very hostile towards Islam. So Umayyah's other child is Abul As. And Abul As's son, his name is Affan. Affan's son's name is Usman. Usman bin Affan, Ashara Mubashara, the third Caliph of Islam. But if you go one step up, Affan has a brother. Affan has a brother whose name is Hakam. Affan has a brother whose name is Hakam. Hakam has a son whose name is Marwan. And then Marwan has sons. One of them is Abdul Aziz, the father of Umar bin Abdul Aziz. So from 40 Hijri to 60 Hijri, 40 Hijri, so Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has left. From 40 to 60 Hijri, the control of the Muslim world used to be in the first family, Abu Sufyan's family. Going down, Abu Sufyan's family, it used to be in this family, Muawiyah, and then Yazid. But when Yazid dies, now the control shifts to the cousins. It goes to Affan's brother, and that is Hakam and Marwan, and then it remains in this family for the next 90 years. So the Umayyad dynasty is about 90 years. You got that? All right. All right, then we made mention that so remember this family. Just remember this family. It's only two. So it is Abd Manaf's one son is Hashim, and the other son is Abdul Shams. And then comes the Banu Umayyad, and Hashim is Banu Abbas, you can say. The whole Banu Abbas, the Abbasid dynasty. Then if you go upwards, this, Qusay. So Qusay has three sons. One is Abd Manaf that we have spoken about, that has two sons. And then Qusay has two other sons. One is Abdul Uzza, and the other one is Abdul Dar. We made mention that Abdul Uzza is a very, very important family as well, because Abdul Uzza ends on Zubayr bin Awam. And Zubayr bin Awam is Ashara Mubashara as well. This family is known as Banu Asad. Sometimes in books, as I made mention, it will be made mention as Banu Asad bin Abdul Uzza. And Zubayr bin Awam is married to who? Hazrat Asma, Hazrat Aisha's elder sister, Hazrat Asma. And if you go one up, Awam is married to Safiya. Safiya is the paternal auntie of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Safiya. So she's the auntie of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Safiya and Awam, husband and wife, they are blessed with a child whose name is Awam, Zubayr. And then Zubayr is blessed with a child whose name is Abdullah bin Zubayr. Abdullah bin Zubayr. That was killed later on when we study history by who? Hajjaj bin Yusuf. All right. So that is Abdul Uzza. Then you go to Abdul Dar. Abdul Dar, and remember the family Banu Abdul Dar. The family of Abdul Dar, these are the caretakers of the key of the Kaaba. Right at the end you will find that it is Talha bin Usman. Talha bin Usman was approached by the Nabi of Allah when he was leaving Mecca to open the doors. We've spoken about that. All right, then we go up across. So now we're going to go to understand Kilab. Kilab had Qusay, and now he has another son whose name is Zuhra, Banu Zuhra. And Banu Zuhra has 2 Ashara Mubasharas. If you go down, Haris, Abd Auf, and Abdul Rahman ibn Auf. So this is one family. This is known as the Zuhra family. And if you go to the right and you come down, Abd Manaf, you go to the left, Wahib, then Abi, and then Waqqas, Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. So Waqqas and Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. So this is Ashara. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas is not Ashara Mubashara. Is he? Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas is Ashara Mubashara. Jazakumullah. And if you go to the right, very important, Wahab. And Wahab is the father of Amina. Amina is the mother of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that's why we made mention that Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas is considered to be Mamu, maternal uncle of Nabi Kareem Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Mamu. And in Urdu, why do we call it Mamu? Ma ka mu. Iski wajah? Yes. Why? You don't know this. You should know this. In Urdu, they call it Mamu. Ma means mother and mu means face. So the brother has the face of your mother. Mamu. That's the reason. All right. Then you go across. Jazakumullah by Imran. So now we're going to, so this is Banu Zuhra. Then you go up, Murrah, and then we're going to go across, and then we're going to study these 2 families. So Murrah has Yaqza, and you go down, and this comes to Khalid bin Walid. Right to the bottom, you see Khalid bin Walid. He's not Ashara Mubashara. I said this family was very, very strong. Women were strong, men were strong. This is the family of Abu Jahl. So this is known as the Makhzoom family. It's not known by the Yaqza family. It's known as the Makhzoom family. Abu Jahl is from this family. And the wife that was very, very intelligent, Salama, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she's from the Makhzoom family. When we speak about the wives of the Nabi of Allah, inshallah, you'll come to know of all this. Then you go across, the brother of Yaqza, his name is Taym. You go down, and then it breaks up, Amir, and then you got Abu Bakr Siddiq. So this Banu Taym, remember that. Abu Bakr is from Banu Taym, and Hazrat Umar is from Banu Adi. So Banu Taym is Abu Bakr Siddiq, and then you go to the right, it breaks up, and that is Talha, radiyallahu ta'ala, and both Ashara Mubashara from Banu Taym. Then we go up again, and then we go across. So Ka'b has Murrah, we've spoken about that. Then you go to the Adi tribe, that has Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala right at the bottom. And it has Sa'id bin Zayd, the brother-in-law of Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala, both Ashara Mubashara. And then alhamdulillah, we spoke about the Hushaysh. They don't have any Ashara Mubashara, but it has Umayyah bin Khalf, and it has Amr ibn As radiyallahu ta'ala an. All right. And then we spoke about Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. He comes right from the top, from Fihr. So this is the family tree. Furthermore, we spoke about the Mudir and the Rabi'a. Mudir and Rabi'a, they are the sons of Nizar. And this is number 18 from the bottom. And Mudir is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Nizar is Musaylima Kadhab and those tribes that used to live in the middle. So alhamdulillah, tonight we have completed the Quraysh family tree, but there's a lot to be studied yet pertaining to individuals that are a part of this beautiful tree. Inshallah, we'll speak about that, inshallah, in time to come.